All right, let's see here. A couple things to take care of. We'll be jumping right in for the day. Off chat on YouTube. Okay. Let's see, do we have sound going to OBS at least? Yeah, got sound going to OBS. We don't have audio from the desktop, which is good. I switched back from the meeting. Okay, don't need that preview. Okay, I think we are ready. So I am gonna work on a few things. Where is my browser on this page? There we go. I'm gonna work on a few things. One of them is for Pixel Map, which I've done some stuff recently on stream for. We're going to cookie cut the library, or a new library for it, I should say. Or I think I might have done it. Let's go look at what we have. I may have, yeah, I think I made this one. This may have everything it needs. We'll maybe use this, but I do think potentially I did that on stream not too long ago. I don't remember when it was. At one point, though, I did this, ended up not actually using it because I put the code into LED animation for now, but we will go back and actually move the code into here, test it out, make sure it's working, get all of that stuff going, and I'll do the rest of the setup that I can for this library. I'll make a repo for it under my GitHub. I'll get it pushed. We'll make sure it's passing actions. I'll get some parts of the docs, read the docs. We can set that stuff up. So yeah, a couple. There's a fair amount of like infrastructure stuff that we'll need to get done. So that's kind of the first thing I'm going to be working on is that stuff, that infrastructure, getting everything set up and getting this pushed and getting it ready to go into Adafruit GitHub. And then once it's there, it can be added to the bundle, which is kind of like the official publishing of it. Beyond that, later on today, what I might get into is back to the metro, trying to chase the other hard fault that we came across. So that'll be interesting. I don't think that I did like push this, but I don't actually remember for certain, so I'm gonna search real fast just to make sure I don't have a pixel map already. So I'll create one because that's going to be like kind of the start of what we're going to do here. Space, except all of this is going to be gone, and this will be pixel map. Adafruit CircuitPython pixel map. Description is, I'll see if there's a description I can take. If not, then I'll try to write one, which is basically it allows you to map a group of neopixels to behave as a single neopixel. What the map does. Helper class for making complex animations. Pixel map lets you treat ranges of pixels as single pixels for animation purposes. So we could drop, or I guess we could say for animation and other purposes, because part of the discussion in the meeting was that it's useful beyond just animations, which is part of the rationale for moving it to its own library, in fact. So we will start here, I think. That's a good, like, beginning of a description here. It lets you treat ranges of pixels, and let's call them Because it is NeoPixels specifically. It's not for displays, really. And I think once we've already said NeoPixels, it's implied the next time we use pixels that it's NeoPixels, I feel like. I don't know that we need to call it NeoPixels every time, should we? Maybe we should. For animation and other purposes. It's going to be public. It's going to have a README, but we don't need to add it here. It's already, well, it's going to get created. It did get created with Cookie Cutter, so we already have it. We don't need GitHub to create it with this form. Getignore is the same thing. We should have a Getignore from Cookie Cutter, so we don't need that. License, I think, is actually the same thing because the license is actually just a file, which also got created by Cookie Cutter. So I think we do this with just the name and the description and the public. We're going to go create. We are going to attempt to hook this up to the local repo, which is here, which I'll open PyCharm. We'll see. I've gotten this wrong more times than I've gotten it right, as far as like hooking up a local repo to a remote GitHub project that I just created. So we'll see. I've had varying degrees of success. If I failed, then what we'll do is I'll clone this, which will clone an empty repo because there's nothing in it yet, but it will be linked with GitHub already. Then we can add this code into it and then push it. But I'll make an attempt first at actually just hooking it up. So in order to hook it up, we would need to go get init. We'll need to copy in the current version of the code in here as well. It looks like I put a version of pixel map inside this. Pixel subset. We'll want to test this actually. I don't know. This extends pixel map. I have not done any testing on that. Pixel subset. What is that? What's the difference? Pixel subset lets you work with a subset of a pixel object. Didn't realize I streamed yesterday. Missed you actually figuring out the debugger. Watched it last night. Nice. So awesome you got all the voodoo figured out. Did you ever figure out the cause? I did. Yeah, it was, I mean, I think yes. I should say I think yes. I didn't like prove it, 100,000% or whatever. But I made a hypothesis. We got the hard fault. We figured out where it was pointing. I think the reason was it was accessing a property of what it thought was a group object, a display.io group object, but in actuality it was null because we had set it to none. And that is where the original hard fault that I was wanting to troubleshoot, that is what that one was tied back to, was the thing was null, but it was trying to access properties on it, and that raised, or not raised the exception, but that hard faulted. The one that we saw on the Metro, that one is a different thing, I think. The one that we saw on the Metro the first day, I have not learned anything new about that, but that will be what we look into after this pixel map stuff if I get far enough along on this. But yeah, the first one, the one that I was actually trying to look for on the Metro, that one I did figure out yesterday. Ended up going back to the ESP, and it was actually easier to figure out on that side. And we didn't run into the weird debug thing that we did on the Metro. It's the next thing to look into. So yeah, I will need to test this. I have not tested subset. I guess the idea here is you could have multiple subsets, or I'm not sure I get it. What's the why would you want a subset? What does it do different than a map? I mean, I guess it's simpler than a map. It takes only a start and an end, so it's like a map that can only do one group. Why does it extend map though? Interesting. Does anything use this? Find usages? No usages. Pixel subset. I'm gonna grep learn guide too, because I happen to have it open. There's a lot of code here. Grep, git grep, -n, pixel subset, Lucio Blaster. What is that? The Pokemon Lucio? Overwatch. Whoa, got laser cut? It's where's the NeoPixels get connected? Also trying to figure out what the NeoPixel circuit is like on this. Actually, see, this is this a NeoPixel connector of some sort? Only thing I see so far that would be even possibly NeoPixel related. Did I see anything else? Interesting. And then that was the only one? Yeah, Lucio Blaster is the only one. And it basically... Okay. Okay. So... Yeah, so basically there are a lot of different NeoPixels all connected on the same pin. There's in fact, right here we have a strip of 18, another strip of 18, 7 on a jewel, which is a little PCB that has 7 NeoPixels. Must be a lot more too, because somehow we got up to 151. 60 pixel ring. All of the rings. Must be a bunch more rings. I didn't actually see any of the rings. I understand the difference in pixel map versus Python pixel map. Confusing using the same for 2 different implementations. Kind of. Oh, hey. That was like an unfinished version of this guide, I think. Or is this? Part 3. Oh, they're broken into parts. Okay, this is 3D printing. I see. It does have a bit of circuit stuff too, though. And then here's our pixel. So there are 3 rings, 3 small rings, 1 big ring, the jewel, and then I don't know if these are actual literal. These might be just as part of the diagram. No, I think they're literal. Yeah, I think we have, looks like 2 small strips of 4. That's, well, there's a break in it too, though. Maybe it's a long strip? I don't know. Either way, it's easy enough to see where we got 151 from, which then makes it easy enough to figure out what this code is doing, which is basically just connected all the NeoPixels to 1 pin, but we still want to retain control by each physical device. Like we have ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, and then, ring 4, the big one, and we have strip 1 and strip 2 and jewel. All of those are connected on 1 single line to a single pin, but essentially this project wants to still individually set, ring 1 and ring 2 all by itself, and the jewel all by itself, and the big ring by itself, and the strips, so on and so forth. So that's what it looks like these are doing here, pixel subset. Difference between the Python and the core. So, I mean, really the way that I would try to think about it, the way that I would try to suggest thinking about it, I guess, is that basically from the user code level. So if you're making a project that uses NeoPixels, you will always use the Python pixel map and then just never worry about it beyond that. From the user level, just making a project, you'll always use the Python pixel map. You never have to worry about the core one. And so if you kind of just forget the core one exists, then you only have one to worry about, and then it's not confusing, hopefully, since there's only one. Essentially, though, to expand a bit on what is going on there, the core one, well, the history is kind of interesting on this one as well, because it was a Python class first. So the original implementation was in Python. The core one came along to try to just speed it up, to make it more efficient. And then theoretically, it could have just wholesale changed from Python to core. That would have been possible. We could have made an entire core implementation that did everything the Python 1 did, and then we could just get rid of the Python 1 altogether. That would have been a possibility, but we didn't want to do that. The reason why is we only wanted to put the parts that stood to gain the most efficiency inside the core, and we didn't want to put any of the rest of the code inside the core because it will take up space, relatively precious space in some cases, without that efficiency boost for the parts that can't speed up. So in order to move the fast parts into the core but still keep the rest functional, we have to have that Python layer. Also, in order to make sure that the APIs stay the exact same in our case, we need that Python layer, although if we had just implemented the entire thing in the core, then the API could have been the same without the Python layer. But that's kind of the rationale behind separating them back out, is they wanted the fast parts inside the core, but they didn't want to include all the slower parts inside the core because it would take up extra space. And so the two layers are, the core one is the fast bits, the Python one is built on top of the core one, and the Python one is the one that all user code uses. So user code just worries about the Python one, imports that, uses it, doesn't worry about the core one at all. And then the Python one, internally inside of it, where you don't have to worry about it, it is importing and using the core one in order to get that speed up. A split means the strip could be in length, might be 10 pixels or 30. Yeah. Basically, you could connect all your pixels to one pin, and then you can say, the first 18 are actually their own ring, or the next 18 are actually their own ring. You could do it arbitrary as well. So if you just had a strip of 100 or whatever, and you wanted to treat the first 20 of them together, you could do that as well. Just kind of arbitrarily make points. It is odd, though. I don't know, you could do that with just pixel map. I guess, I don't know. I guess by doing subset, I don't know. It just changes it a bit. I'm not sure if it's easier or harder. I don't know that it's just different a bit than it would be if this had used map only instead of subset. It could have existed, and that would have been fine. Would have been workable, I believe. Interesting. Okay, one thing though that I'll do is I'll definitely test pixel subset, because we do want to make sure we didn't break it, which I had not done before, so test that out. And then I already searched here, and so none of the examples do use pixel subset. So right now the only place actually that's published is that one learn guide. That makes sense. For size, especially on the M0, space is always at premium. Yeah. Yep. That is the crux of it. Okay. So really one of the very first thing I probably want to do is just get rid of the version that's here and paste in the current version, which is working to the best of my knowledge. So we just are gonna, well, yeah, I suppose there is also the there's the question of, should pixel subset, should we also split this into a package a multi-file thing, or should we just leave it as one? I think we just leave it as one for now. It does have pulse generator actually as well. This probably shouldn't move. This, I think, is more specific to LED animation. Yeah. So this probably should just stay back inside of helpers. We can just delete it here. We won't have it. We will get both of these two classes as well as both of these two helper functions. All of those are going to be put inside this file. These are the old ones though, so I'm going to delete them. We're going to grab the ones from LED animation. Oop. Get the serial to work. Oh, the ESP. Tried with GP40. Connected to I get nothing. Tried reversing TX. Tried jumper wires. Tried different baud rates. Yeah, I don't know how to do it on the Cutie Pie. That's what that person's doing. Be able to dig out my Cutie Pie one of these days and try it out, but I want to keep that. Basically gonna take these four. All right, that's not a line. That stuff. Put all that stuff here. Save that. I don't know where those came from. Oh. Came from here, I guess. We need those? Oh, well, we can't import them that way. So if we do need them, then we need to change the way they're imported. Were those only used for the pulse generator though? Hopefully those were just, yeah. Any other red? I don't know. Whether or not it's fine. One thing is I will pull back the authors because like I didn't really write the class. I have made a few tweaks to make it work with the core one, but that's it. Basically took what was there before, and I think probably Roy, well Rose, say Rose did the work on it, some of it as well, but it was all committed under Katney's name, so we'll just pull in what's in the existing one for now. So we have enough to actually commit this, or get failed? Oh, I never did actually link it up. Yeah, I started talking about linking it up with the remote, and I did not actually do it. So we need to find the right browser. Easier said than done, unfortunately, right now. Copy this. Go get remote. Well, we gotta go get a init first. Git remote, git remote, git remote at foamy guy. Paste. Git fetch. Git checkout new branch main. So I cannot for the life of me figure out how to make this default to main. How's it going? It's Pika Pika. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a nice day. We will go. We should be able to run pre-commit now. No files. Okay, because nothing is added. So we'll add git ignore. Watching. Let's see. Watching, matching, and learning Git. Don't know Git. Nice. That's cool. I know a little bit of Git. I would not say that I'm. Probably would not even call myself all the way proficient, but I have learned a lot by working on this open source project. I kind of was forced to figure it out quite a bit, but I am still sometimes get myself into quagmires for sure. We will add git ignore first. Git add git ignore. I don't know why. Okay, there it goes. We should be able to commit that by itself, I guess. That's nothing to take care of. We'll catch up on the rest of the stream tonight. Congrats for figuring out the hard fault. It has to feel good. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Thanks, DJ Devin. Hope you have a good day. Take it easy. Git ignore. Should have all the stuff we're ignoring here, which is things. We'll git ignore. Yeah, this is just going to ask me this stuff for every repo. I do it globally, I guess, but the problem is I have other repos where I don't want them to be set to this stuff. I'm going to have to do one of these days because I'm not going to want to type this for every single thing I ever clone. Into foamy guy main, that should be good. So we push here. That should show up on this side now. Yep. So now we can add, and so we added git ignore first. That way I can now go git add. Is it all files? Is it all files? Is it just all? Dash all? All files, that's pre-commit is all files. Yeah, git add dash dash all. There we go. Okay. Should be fine. Just pie. Okay. A lot more blue stuff in here now, or green, I guess. Okay. This, and I guess we could actually probably run pre-commit now. Probably this fails pretty bad. Oh, been a lot worse. So we did fail black? Did we? Did it run black? Did fail, but it made the fixes. Actually, I only have 2 other pylons, so line too long on this. Say CircuitPython library for mapping multiple neopixels to behave as one. Or we'll word it the same way we did before for animations and other purposes. That should hopefully make the line short enough as well. What is the next one? Unused import math. Okay, get rid of it. Run it again. PyCharm is good. I would agree 1000% with that. Very much enjoy PyCharm IDE. For sure. Honestly, when I first learned when I first started learning Git, I probably would not have been able to do it nearly as well without PyCharm. For a long time, I used exclusively PyCharm's interface for Git stuff. I've picked up a fair amount of the terminal things as well at this point, but yeah, for a long time I was like, PyCharm was my GUI for Git, and that was the only way I used it. We should be able to push. I assume it still probably fails actions for some reason. Probably, I mean, docs maybe. Yeah. If nothing else, then I would assume the docs, because we didn't set up read the docs or anything yet. Go initial commit. Commit and push checks failed. 9 to do. To dos. That's not an actual to do. Is it? List of notes? Pilot RC? No. No. That's not an actual to do. This one is, but boy, I mean, the problem is it's like every NeoPixel device, which is a lot. 184. I mean, we could almost, is there a category? There is category. Can we just like go to the NeoPixels category? Category 168. Here we go. I think this is probably the best thing to link. Unordered list. All right, unfortunately, okay, here's what we're gonna do is paste that here, but we need to get this. Do we need the quotes though? I don't know if we need the quotes. Link text. So this will be NeoPixel products, NeoPixel capital P or no? Yeah. Currently struggling in Linux. It's, yeah, it is a struggle. It is a struggle some days. I started using Linux on my daily driver about 2 years ago. Probably about like, it's actually pretty much 2 years and a month is when I started using Linux on my daily driver. And it was and still continues to be a struggle some days for sure. Some days are worse than others. I have learned a lot and I have gotten a lot better. And I'm thankful for it, but there are definitely days where I wonder, is Windows really that bad? It's not really. Actually, I don't really have anything against Windows, but I didn't want to use Windows 10, and Linux is free, so I made the jump. Also, the place I wanted to buy the computer from was a place that preloads Linux, so I was intrigued by the idea of just buying it all ready to go. I think we just, do we need, I don't think we need any of this stuff anymore now. We have hardware, which is just NeoPixel products. That's going to go to the category, and so we're going to do uncomment bus device. Oh, how's it going, Johnny? Hope you're having a good day. We don't, yeah, we don't need bus device or register. I use Mac, the perfect mix between Windows and Linux. Yeah, I have the few times I have tried to use Mac, I struggled. Probably if I actually just spent more time with it, though, I bet I'd be all right. Please read uncomment below. Oh, okay, yeah, mock imports. Uncomment below if you use native CircuitPython modules. So, ooh. In our case, we do and the native CircuitPython module actually is going to be underscore pixel map, which is what we're working on. We can get rid of the to-do there. We can get rid of the extra line. If this is true. Oh, okay, yeah, this is not a to-do either. This is just a document that, a comment that talks about to-dos. Library files are a package folder. Okay, ours are not. Ours, currently it's a single file. I think we leave that. I do think we probably leave the to-do here anyway, though, because if it gets converted to a folder, then it will still need to be done. And I know a few times I have been the one who's converted a library to a folder, and I will go into this file and look for this exact comment in order to know what to do. So I think it makes sense to leave it there. One thing that might be worth fixing is this is a underscore and this is a hyphen. That is probably a cookie cutter change, though, ultimately, where that needs to be changed. Okay. Yeah, I think we're ready to at least try again. Because I think we made it through the rest of these. None of them are, well, this one is the only one that's an actual to-do, but I think we don't want to delete it. The other 5 are not actually to-dos, truthfully. They're like comments talking about to-dos. Go commit anyway and push. Funday main. Push. Took me like a month to get over the differences, never looked back. I do run Windows on the gaming rig, though. Nice. Yeah, I've been slowly getting more and more games are starting to support Linux, it feels like Steam in particular has lots of games that support Linux now, and on Steam, even ones that don't like claim support for Linux, a lot of them do still work if you use, I don't know, I forget what they call it. You go into like properties and you set like launch as or whatever. There's a like Proton maybe or something is what it's called. I don't remember the exact name, but there's like a way you can launch it where it ends up still working on Linux, even though the original game was not made for it and doesn't claim support for it. Out the logistics here of a walk. I'll walk a little later. It's looking nice, looking pretty nice out. Kind of sunny looking. Alright, this should have all the stuff in it now. I assume it will still fail the actions, but we'll wait and see. What is something we could do while that's running? We could be going to read the docs. I logged in though. Bummer. Take my hoodie off. Oh, on YouTube, yes, I'm still here, listening. Pause my tunes out of nowhere. What is this? Gotta find all the right windows again. Too many browsers open right now. Plug in over here. I don't know what all this shows. Okay. You know, the other thing, actually, I'm going to go learn creating. This guide also has, I think, instructions about creating a document. How long does actions take? It depends. Yeah, there's a lot of variables. In the case of libraries, the actual like code that it needs to run, the stuff that it does, tends to take like maybe a few minutes, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes tops in terms of like actual runtime doing stuff on the VM. However, sometimes you have to wait until a runner or whatever is available. So your, 5 or 10 minutes does not start counting until a thing actually starts running it. So like you could have to wait for several minutes before you even start running. So that can make it take longer. And then I will say the libraries are a lot different than the core. The core actions take way longer. Those can easily go in excess of an hour because it builds every single device. It can take multiple hours, honestly, if you wait for the whole thing to finish in the core. And it also has the same thing where it has to wait for a runner that's actually ready to take it or whatever. Where did we fail? README. Oh. Warning treated as error. Sphinx. Okay, so I think this is in the when it tried to generate the documentation. Whoops. So let's go into docs, and I think, did I make my, I have an alias, yeah. Made an alias for, I just run cp docs, and it runs this command right here, which builds the docs, which I would never successfully remember. We did fail on the same thing. Explicit one ends without a something, so we're going to go back to README, look at line 40. Why the RST is broken. Another to-do. Describe the Adafruit product this library works with for PCBs. You could also add the image from the assets folder. I don't know, like, what format should this be? Do we just make it a bullet point or something? I mean, because we basically want close to the same thing we had on the other page. It's in here. Total category 168. Got a green screen. Haven't noticed earlier. I do. Yep, I got the green screen running behind me. It does. I looked at the preview. Some days are better, and some times a day I've found are better than others as well. As it gets later at night and it starts getting darker, the chroma key doesn't work as well. It starts to mess up the background, and then there's also like, which side is it? Right over my shoulder here. The white part there is actually a there's a window back there, so the light shines through the green screen. It's like a fabric green screen, so it comes through. I do have it set up though. Sometimes I have to tweak it as well. My hoodie is actually a different shade of green, but if the lighting is just right, it'll chroma key my hoodie out as well. Got the invisibility cloak going on. I didn't really describe the product, but I think just the bullet point is probably good enough. Unexpected indent on 45. Yeah, we're gonna want it on PyPy, I think, so just get rid of that line altogether instead of worrying about the new lines or whatever it's indentation or whatever it's got. Explicit markup without a blank line. Actually it didn't really find all these to-dos in that list we saw earlier, did it? Quick example. Quick example. I'm gonna plug in the Neotrellis. Actually, on the animation example, we'll get the. How's it going, Dave Odessa? Thanks for hanging out. Hope you're having a nice day. We'll grab more basic example. Okay, hopefully saved. Maybe didn't. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we did. Oh well. Okay. So for the simple test, we're actually going to just get rid of everything to do with animations altogether. We're not going to have any animation stuff. This is going to be made a fruit pixel map, import pixel map. This will then do that. Oh, yeah, we have the problem where we want these functions also, though. We could say as helper. Or we could go just import this. Or actually, let's do it this way. Let's go from this, import this, and this. We might as well get the vertical one while we're here too, actually. Then we just take this off. We are going to get rid of all the animations. No animating. We don't really need to be printing that. That's just going to spam. Alright, so this should just be NeoPixels off, I think. Or I guess actually this will crash because it's in a library that's not on our device. We put the library on our device, though. Then it does not crash, but it hasn't really done anything either. I mean, it's initialized, but it's not, no lights are on. See much anyway. But we should be able to now go like pixel wing horizontal, let's say 1 equals Blue. Brightness? Yeah, brightness is good. Okay. Fool me once. Oh. Auto right? Need an auto right. Maybe auto right's false here, so we'll just go true on that instead. There we go. Oh, accidentally have a bunch of weird space now. Okay, and then actually upside down. So 0, index 0 for the horizontal map is that top row. Now index 1 is the second row down, which is the one we did. If we do 0, it'll be the top row. And then if we did the vertical one instead, this column. I guess you could do both, and then it would just reset that one to green. Or this one to green? Yeah. You can't see it very well in the camera, truthfully, because it's so much light, but it's basically the whole row, the whole top row is blue, except for this one, which is green, because we did the green afterwards on the column. We want to make this any more complex than this, or no? Is this? Okay. Yeah, YouTube has been working that into my playlists lately. I think I almost want to go like a little bit more. Well, should we? Do we want to animate? Is it really an animation if we just loop through them? It's also not going to turn off the other rows. Do we care about that? Could fill 0, I suppose. That will turn everything off. This will turn the current row to green. So we'll wait a little bit in between each one. After all that's done, we're going to do the verticals next. I think that's a pretty good simple test that shows you what this thing does. I guess, should we go back to fill 0 after, or does it matter? I mean, we almost, yeah, I don't know. I think we just leave it there for now. Fine, just leave the last one on. So we're basically going to take this CodePy I've just written on this device, put it into the examples folder inside of our new repo here. We already have simple test actually. Let me just take the code. And then take that code, put it as our usage example. Though I don't remember the right format. I think that's the right thing, but I think you can do a language also. Got that space, code block, colon, space. I think that's right, but I don't know for sure. I also have no idea if this needs a space here or not. Links here. Okay, more to-dos. This is an index, so that's going to be inside of here. Learn guide links. LED animation guide would be the most relevant one that exists today, probably. There's actually even a pixel mapping. Whoa. So that goes. Products again. Basically the same thing we had before. Just want a different formatting this time. There we go. Got a successful build. So the docs will be unknown because it's not in read the docs yet. The build status will be broken because it's not on GitHub yet. Or I pushed it to GitHub, but it's not in the right place. It's not in the Adafruit GitHub, which is where that's pointed. This seems broken. Oh, products. This page doesn't resolve. Categories. Oh, I didn't rebuild. There we go. Better. I don't know. I guess. I mean, we don't really want that if it doesn't work, right? No sense in a link to a 404 page. Oops. This should be Adafruit pixel map. I'm not sure why that didn't get. That might need to be adjusted in Cookie Cutter also. So that one, that should be correct, I think, for the name on that one. Reformatted files, got some pilot errors. They're using enumerate. Fair. Why is this not again? One should have been column anyway instead of row. Now this will need to be I inside of here. This will be I inside of here. Time before NeoPixel. No, time before board even. Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah, I guess we don't need that one. Okay, I'm gonna take the code, make sure it actually works still. Get back to the camera fast enough, but it did indeed run through its thing there. I can close some browsers. It's the meeting, we don't need that one. When we're in, that's our camera control. That is our stream and music. It's the chat. It's this one. Okay, that's a little bit more manageable. Okay, that did run. I think everything worked fine. We want to make a note that says that this is the pin for the Neo Trellis M4. Update to match the pin. This is connected to your own NeoPixels. Really, it's the pin that your NeoPixels are connected to. Oh, NeoPixels? No. Alright, so now we tweaked this on the device, so we want to go back into the repo, get it there again. Pre-commit, check docs. Oh, I don't know. Does pre-commit work if I'm inside the docs folder? Is that like a fake pre-commit that's not... No, it did Pylint earlier, right? It must work fine. Oh, nice. Got a much appreciated point in the right direction from Scott on the hard fault that we saw in the Metro, so we at least have something else to look into and try. Cool. Begin on the help with. Well, JSON decode error, not decode. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be a bit tough, I think. Be pretty cool if this person manages to do it. In the help with channel, this person's trying to ultimately hook up to Duolingo APIs from CircuitPython device. They have a library that's written for CPython, trying to adapt it. Better substrate. Where are we at here? So let's check and see. Did I just push? I think I did, but let's see if we're passing. I mean, I think it's. I think still fails probably for not having read the docs set up yet. Oh, this actually looks green so far. Okay. Okay. Made it green. Nice. So we do, I mean, the badge here, these will still be broken. So docs is broken, and then this is broken. Docs, I don't know if I have everything to do that myself. I don't think I do. I think there's one step I can't do that would be required in order to get that badge working. And then this one as well, this one will need basically the repo to get spun up under the Adafruit account, because that's what that's linked to. And then PyPy will work on releases once it's under Adafruit. So we're getting close to there, I guess. Back to this is the next thing that we can do, which is import a project, import manually. Okay, I do think this is the right stuff to follow. Here, import a project manually. Ah. Actually, we don't want to. Yeah, actually, we don't want to do this yet because we would want to import it because basically we're about to go copy paste the Git URL or GitHub for the repo, put that in to read the docs. But the truth is, we want this to be starting like this: github.com/Adafruit, and then it should be the name of this repo, which will be. But this doesn't exist yet. Only this one exists, which is /foamyguy here. I think that is all I can do until we get a Adafruit either fork of this repo or just a new repo with this name that's under the Adafruit, and then move all this code into it. Yeah. I will mention it in the dev Discord. Cookie cut. What's the past tense of cookie cutted? Cookie cutted? cookie cutted repo for pixel map to live in. It's pushed here, linked to my repo. I think I finished up everything that I can until the Adafruit repo is created. Once that is created, there's a few more steps I can do for RTD, then it'll be ready for the webhook setup. And then when you have a sec, can you fork this or create Adafruit CircuitPath and pixel map under the Adafruit org? Yeah. That. And then, yeah, I think we wait, because I think I cannot do anything else until we get Adafruit 1. Read the docs is the next stuff to do, and we'll import, but it'll need to be, well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking we won't want to, I'm thinking it will get linked to it permanently if we import it from the wrong one, so we want to import it from the correct one. Really. So I will get back into the other one of these. Which I believe, so Scott gave us next stepping stone to leap to, so to speak. Try it without the computed goto flag. Goto flag. How would we do that? I don't even know how to do that. I guess computed goto, is that like when we build, we make this? vm.c mainpy. If micropy opt computed goto, else which is all this. Goto. Micropy opt. I mean, I could just do like if false and then it would not go into this, I suppose, but surely not the right way to do it. Micropy opt. How do we change micropy opt? Variables. What? That seems very unlikely. Really? Spell it wrong? It's weird. Don't even have the GitHub pages or anything. It's the only thing that has opt. RP2. disable. So is it just a thing you put in impconfig? We go to main. I'll revert this for now. Let's say we want to make a Metro M4 build. Mark case to be backwards compatible. Oh, okay. We do that. Yeah. Well, yummy. Okay, actually we have this file already open here, Metro. So we would, is it just like, right one? This is not the right one, is it? This would, well, no, these are pins though. Well, but that's, not this. Pretty sure it's not this. So do we need a define inside this thing, or do we need just a variable inside this thing? I think this is the file where you turn on and off stuff normally. Like this is where we turned off Microlab, for instance. Is that, if you put this here, does that... line back? Okay, let's see what that does. Let's try a regular build first. I should have done a clean also. Oh, that's right. Right, okay. This is slightly different. It's not forking, it's not creating kind of creating in a way. I guess it's moving. It's really more than anything what it's doing. What we really want to do is we're going to go to the repo I made. Oh, boom. This one. It's actually in here, although I probably don't want to do this on screen, because I don't know what all it shows, so I'm going to go over here for now. Transfer, where's transfer? I think it's in danger zone. Transfer, yes. Did this. I think we did all this. That's not good. Work. Pop up the thing. There's no. You try. Where are these? Yeah. Okay. That is initiated. Essentially, same stuff still needs to happen. Just the process actually gets kicked off on my side. Well, on the side of whoever pushed it first. Okay. So now we're good on that again. Let's try to make. And I'll be heading out here in a few minutes as well. Did get a build with this one. How did it work like 1 minute ago? Did not suddenly lose Cascade Tunnel. Am I missing something? How did we get... How could this have been successful here? We didn't have this. I mean, we can install it, certainly, but like I did before, and I don't understand how... I have made a bunch of builds of all kinds of things, including the one that we just did like a moment ago. How did all of those succeed? Doesn't make any sense. We're in a different Python? I have no idea which Python we're actually say. Okay. Yeah. We got this before, which is because it can't, doesn't have room for the debug build. Um, that's probably just needs it. Okay. Presumably that worked. We got a build. Supposedly this should be on 0. So when I get back to it, I'll get the J-Link and everything all set up with BDB server or whatever that was that we did. And I'll try the making the label. See if that is no longer getting us to the hard fault if we have this thing turned off. And then I also noticed I did get another review from Scott on this one. Let's take a look at this, and then I'm going to head out after this. Let's show none. I think back to show instead of root group. One more case. Show none should still set it back to the terminal. But root group equals none will not. Okay, so we'll look into that, I think. It'll actually need to check here. This is where when the user calls show, they're calling this function, and internally we're actually now just passing it to set root group. So if we actually want different behavior for show and set root group, then what we'll have is if statement here, like if root group is null, then we will call set root group with CircuitPython splash. But if it's not null, then we'll just pass it through to set root group. I think that's what I have to work on when I get back to it on that front. Then on pixel map, I'll be able to do the docs once that gets imported. Beta for .org. Okay, I'm gonna head out for now. Hope everybody has a nice day. Thank you for watching. I will catch you next time.